evil people will leave you for dead while destroying all you hold dear. When evil people come to rule your nation, overthrow becomes necessary, and so does sacrifice. But sometimes you'll need more than just weapons. You'll need a symbol to inspire and motivate. Here are 10 ways the Capitol controlled the districts and how it necessitated the symbol of the Mockingjay. And tell me what you think in the comments. Psychological warfare. The Capitol stages victories, like celebrating each victor's survival, as if it wasn't the Capitol, forcing so many of the district's children to die. And they especially celebrated Katniss's and Peeta's dual victory, even though Snow was secretly enraged by it. The Capitol parades the victors about and celebrates them on victory tours. Dr. Gale stated that continuing the 10th Hunger Games after the bombing was a display of order over chaos. The Capitol also generates consistent misinformation, like the Capitol's portrayal of the tributes as willing participants, as well as fabricating stories to explain shortages and simultaneously denying uprisings to Capitol citizens. The Capitol also lied and told everyone that Clemencia was out with the flu, when in reality she had nearly been killed by Dr. Gale's snakes. All of this is part of psychological warfare, keeping the districts submissive, fearful, and questioning what's next, while people in the Capitol continue believing in the government. The Capitol keeps possession of advanced technology, while most of the people living in the districts have little, if any, tech. Mostly just TVs to watch mandated public broadcasts and the Hunger Games. By keeping the technology to themselves, the Capitol keeps the districts unable to obtain weapons, communicate, or organize a logistical plan to rebel. This does raise the question, why wasn't District 3 one of the Capitol's favorite districts? Making the electronics, 3 would be making drones and possibly other tech-based weapons, and District 2 was probably making the more conventional weapons like firearms, bows, bombs, etc. Why wouldn't the Capitol want to establish a better relationship with District 3, since that district has so much power manufacturing the technology in Panem? Why do you think District 3 wasn't a Capitol favorite? The Capitol erased culture. The districts were so far out of touch from one another that they had separate festivals, traditions, and ceremonies. While many countries have a nationwide set of expectations for what certain events will be like, such as weddings, funerals, and graduations, the traditions and ceremonies in Panem are different from district to district. Like in District 4, weddings involve the couple standing under a net woven out of long grass and the couple placing seawater on their lips and singing an ancient song that compares a marital union to being out to sea, while District 12 has the ceremonial toasting the night of the wedding. Differing traditions and cultures makes it more difficult for the people of different districts to form bonds if they are ever able to meet each other. By having favorite districts with more favors and blessings than the non-favorite districts, the Capitol furthers resentment between the districts. The careers are more likely to help the Capitol in exchange for keeping a favorite status with the Capitol and gaining additional resources, while the other districts hate the favorites more. Do you think District 2's long history as a favorite of the Capitol was why Gale seemed to have no issue killing all those people in the nut? The Capitol rewrote history, like teaching the districts that 13 had been obliterated. They only allowed the districts to learn what was necessary for their trades. By keeping the citizens undereducated, it made it easier for the Capitol to control the districts through propaganda. Undeniably, one of the most discussed aspects of the book. The public broadcasts of the Capitol's power, showing off their riches and fashion, their use of entertainment for distraction, and the glorification of violence that had become so nonchalant in the Capitol that the Hunger Games, for many Capitol citizens, was nothing more than a gambling event. The sickest propaganda put out by the Capitol has to be the idea that district citizens are nothing but animals. Like in Sunrise on the Reaping, it persuades the Capitol citizens to believe that the people in the districts are not human, they're animals, which convinces those in the Capitol that the violence in the games isn't the same because animals are killing each other, not humans. And the people in the Capitol must have had their education heavily controlled and their history rewritten as well for them to so easily believe that those in the districts were anything less than human. The Capitol controlled the districts through surveillance, using jabberjays, cameras, peacekeepers, and Capitol loyalists. For example, Snow knew about Katniss kissing Gale, and in Catching Fire, the peacekeepers were certain Rebellion that they had caught Katniss in the woods after turning the fence on and waiting at her house, but she managed to outsmart them. And Snow knew that Haymitch was dating a Covey girl. Having a steady stream of information readily available means that it is easier for the capital to keep the districts fearful by having strict laws and making the punishments for breaking those laws barbaric and public, like beating and executing citizens in broad view of everyone. The capital controlled all resources: food, medicines, supplies, and materials, leaving the districts with no choice but to do the capital's work and stay alive. But the capital took this one step further, creating scarcity by hoarding more than what they needed and even wasting food, like intentionally vomiting in order to eat more, while the districts starved and lacked, which meant that more people in the districts would commit a crime to keep themselves alive, like hunting in the woods and delivering a turkey to a peacekeeper, which would provide another public punishment to further frighten more people in the districts. Because the capital constantly surveilled Panem, manipulated the people psychologically, and controlled everything in the nation, from food and materials all the way to culture and education, the rebellion that would defeat them would not be won with weapons alone. The people had been kept in a constant state of fear, turmoil, and severe hunger and want. The rebels had to have a symbol to inspire and motivate the masses. They had to find a way to unite the districts, and they had to find a way to broadcast their own information to go against the capital's propaganda. And this is why Katniss and the Mockingjay were so necessary. They symbolized hope and freedom, giving the people in the districts the desire to fight and press for a better tomorrow. How else do you think the capital controlled the districts? And what other reasons can you think of that made a symbol like the Mockingjay necessary in order to fight against the capital and win? Let me know in the comments. And I am making diligent notes as I'm rereading all the Hunger Games books. I have so many notes that I hope to make into videos in the near future, so please subscribe if that interests you. Keep weaving the threads of your stories.